see Tottenham go one step closer to breaking their 30-year drought in the most historic and beautiful cup competition in the world. Hit that like and share button. This is the Match Reaction Show live on the original Top 6 channel on YouTube. Let's do this. If you're on the lookout for a new pair of jeans, fancy a new shirt, just want to update your wardrobe, today you are in luck. The Football Terrace is again partnering with boohooMAN, where we can give you an extra 10% off their entire clothing range on their website right now. All you need is promo code TFT10 and or the link in our description below. So when you're finished here, go check it out. Go get yourself some brand new clobber. A little bit of a discount from the Terrace. Big thank you to boohooMAN. Now just smash this like button. Let's start the stream. Let's go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Spurs go through a very, very good performance from them this afternoon, or this evening really, against Brighton. They join, of course, Man City and Chelsea that also find themselves through to the next round today. No big shocks outside of last night, really. Chelsea, of course, today, and West Ham really pushed to the max by Kidderminster and Plymouth Argyle, but all managing to get themselves over the line. And Tottenham tonight, probably the trickiest tie of all the top 6 sides very much going into this round of games. Brighton that have played well on a number of occasions this year against Liverpool, against Chelsea. And you thought, what would be of this Tottenham team? What's going to happen to them in the context of everything? But they stepped up. They delivered. They were excellent. They were absolutely excellent today in relation to that. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. So I sort of looked at that performance, and I looked at everything that they did, and it worked out very well. I'm really sorry about the comments section. It's saying here that only members only can comment, and I'm not too sure why it's switched on to that. But I've just changed that over now, so the comment section should be working. I'm very sorry. A few people are just realizing there's no comments, and I'm like, where's all the comments of everybody watching? But there we go. But yeah, from that point of view, it was a tough game for Tottenham. It was a really tough game for Tottenham tonight. And they played excellent. They were absolutely brilliant tonight. They made Brighton very one-dimensional in that first half. They stopped Brighton from creating. They stopped Brighton from being able to move the ball with any real tempo. And I felt the Spurs were the aggressors, but they did it in a non-obvious way. They didn't have the majority of the ball, but they didn't need the majority of the ball. They had around 44, 45%, something like that. But they just countered. And maybe that's the best way to play against a team like Brighton. Just counter against them. You sit back, you absorb, and you counter when you need to. And it worked wonders. They pressed at the right times. They held themselves back at the right stages. The balance that Antonio Conte is starting to bring to this Tottenham team is excellent. We know he needs some new players. The squad needs an injection. And I actually thought Bentancur and Kulevski, when they came on, both looked quite tidy in possession and on the ball as well. Very limited time. Game already done and dusted. So no one's going to be overtly judging them at this moment in time. But it was a good performance. Harry Kane with a brace. It's mad this season. We actually look at Harry Kane's goal return. If you discount the Premier League, which he only has 5 goals in, for him that isn't very high. 4 in the conference, 1 in the League Cup, and he now has, what's that going to be, 3? It's what's that in total? 17 goals this season for club and country, which everyone's been talking about him as if he's absolutely dried up. Does need more in the Premier League, there's no doubt. But if they'd have started the season with Antonio Conte, maybe they would be in a much better position indeed. Maybe they would have been. Just watch out for Kulusevski. He looks very good, is what Jerome's got to say. He looked tidy. I was more impressed with Bentancur in the middle. It was just some of his quick-witted touches. That's what I call him, a quick-witted touch, where he's in a gap and he's got to sort of knock it from his right foot to his left foot and drop a shoulder to beat a man. And he did that 2 or 3 times with ease. Looks very talented, very, very talented indeed. And it is the opening games. Just let them settle. You've also got to factor in that other teams will at some point watch them and go, okay, well, where are their weaknesses? But both signings when they came on looked nice, looked neat, and looked tidy. They really, really did. Spurs here says Romero was excellent. And that's another great shout tonight. Romero was excellent. Romero's performance tonight was very, very good indeed. And we all saw what he did and read about what he did in Serie A. The level of performances he was putting over in Italy were exceptionally good. Again, he joined Tottenham. There was a manager there that he didn't necessarily want. And essentially, that didn't help his settling in period. But under Antonio Conte, you just get the feeling they're going to be a match made in heaven. And of course, will he improve when he has better players next to him as opposed to Davis, Sanchez and Davis? Yes, he will. And that's where investment needs to come in from Daniel Levy and the owners of Tottenham over the course of the summer, of course. But very, very good indeed. Gabriel here says Conte tactics. They were good. They were very, very good tonight. And look, Spurs attack if Spurs went toe-to-toe, tried to be the overt aggressors and left space in behind, the likes of Lamptey, the likes of March would have run the show. Bissouma in the second half, again, he's just class above. Best midfielder on the football pitch across both teams. And you saw that tonight. If you put Bissouma in that Spurs team, it's a completely different football match. Bissouma is the real deal. He is the real deal. And I know that, of course, he's got this big court case hanging over him at the moment, so maybe that's why some of the bigger sides didn't go in for him in this January window. But if he's available in the summer for whatever reason, he gets into pretty much every single Premier League team. I think Bissouma is that good. Not just with the strength and the speed and the athleticism that he poses, which makes him a great Premier League player. It's his technical ability. He's got technique. He can use both his feet. He's absolutely excellent. But the way Spurs managed Brighton was key. I've seen teams in recent weeks and months try and go at Brighton. They open up, they leave space in behind, and they can expose you. And they still open Tottenham up at times because they're a very good ball-playing team. But overall, at the end of the day, Antonio Conte got it absolutely spot on tonight. Someone here says, Terry, no one wants to sign Bissouma because of the allegations. Look, and cool, I get that. But that isn't, we're talking about his footballing ability here because he's still playing. And if, as I just said, Leaf, if he's available in the summer for whatever reason, he walks into every single top 6 side in the Premier League. He's honestly walks again. Plays a different position to Fabinho, but he walks into Liverpool's midfield. He could play in Man City's midfield, walking into it maybe a bit of a push. I would put him in the Chelsea midfield. I think Kovacic is excellent. I think J5 is excellent, but I think he's a different type of player. Man United, it's not even a debate. Arsenal's, he'd be Arsenal's best midfield player since Fabregas. Point blank, straight away, overnight, no messing. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely done until then. We've got Leaf joining us now on the call. What are you saying, Leaf?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well, my friend. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I was actually really impressed tonight by Spurs. Romero was excellent. Bentancur and Kulusevski were very sharp. Kulusevski could have gotten an assist, but Bergwijn missed it, unfortunately. I was really impressed, honestly. I did not expect us to play such good football in terms of winning the game against a good Brighton team who played most of their first team. So yeah, I mean, I'm confident that we can get top 4, especially if the 2 signings go really well.
Yeah, look, I thought you were very good. I was quite excited about this game. This was the game out of everything this weekend that I was most excited about. It's the one I felt would be the most competitive. And in fact, it wasn't really and truly. There were moments, if they could have held on to 2-1 for 5-10 minutes and built up a head of steam, maybe. But as soon as you conceded, you went straight down the other end. And some will say a little bit fortuitously, but the errors that were made tonight by Brighton were forced upon them by the way Antonio Conte has sent you all out to play. And it was also, look, another 2 goals for Harry Kane this season, 17 in total for club and country. I think that's 13 or so overall for Tottenham. I mean, he's starting to come alive again in the last 5 to 6 weeks, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that his performances have been better, but the way that he's scoring now those goals, like the first goal that you see, that's like the vintage Kane. He didn't do that in the start of the season, even when he scored some goals. Now you can see he's very confident, and like Kane getting back to his best could really open up the top four race.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm just looking here. Harry Kane has got seven goal contributions in his last 10 games. And it's one of those things for me where I kind of feel like when Antonio Conte starts to cook a little bit more, when he gets more players around him, Harry Kane is going to be essential, And,
Yeah.
it was literally the only sort of poor game he's really had, I would say, in the past, in the 2 games that he's been poor in. But the whole team was in your 2 games against Tottenham in the Chelsea in the EFL. I mean, in fairness, your 3
It was
games
very
against
good.
Chelsea in those matches. But aside from
Yeah.
that, Kane looks like he's doing better. And what was really impressive today is when you had Son out, you only really had Lucas Moura with any real quality and pace.
Yeah.
Now Son's back in the team. There's a bit more. And what did you make of the 2 new boys that came on?
I was very impressed, especially Bentancur. There is this highlight where he not makes a player, then he goes back and back heels the ball. He was very good, and honestly, Kulusevski could have gotten an assist. He's not a fast winger, so he's not like Son and Moura. He's more of a composed finisher and passer, and that's exactly what we need right now.
I couldn't agree with you more. Leaf, excellent call, mate. Thank you for coming on the show and
Thank
having
you.
your say. I appreciate it, mate. Take care. Thank you. Bash is on the show next. We have a super chat first, though. This says the new signing, Kulusevski and Bentancur had a fantastic start and performance, and definitely favorites if playing in form to finish in the top 4. If those 2 new signings are a lot better than the majority of rivals thought they were, if they come in and they hit the ground running, I've said all along, Tottenham have, some would say maybe the 3rd best manager in the league, but definitely in the top 4 managers in the league. Domestically, in terms of his league, what he does in league titles, in league games, in the last 8 years, there are not very many league managers in terms of winning matches and accumulating points that have been better than Antonio Conte. His record is absolutely sublime. So, yeah, look, from my point of view, if these 2 boys start to cook, if they settle well and they start to make Tottenham better, they give Spurs more strength in depth, able to rotate. Spurs are a danger with Antonio Conte. I just don't think that can be anybody denying that is lying to themselves or kind of talking with hope. It's like, oh, I hope they're no good. I hope they don't turn out to be something quite decent, but they very much could be. There's no doubt about that at all. Fred here says, I would love to see a Lukaku Kane swap deal. See how one another would perform at the other club. Look, yeah, I mean, Lukaku also strikes me as a player that he has to be somewhere where he's happy. I just don't think he's an elite level Premier League striker. And that doesn't mean he isn't top class, because we've seen Diego Forlan is a great case in point. You've got Veron, who's another case in point, 2 world-class football players, or top class to world-class. Everyone's got a different view outside of the English Premier League. They couldn't quite cut it here and do it here. And I'm sure there are examples, if we went and searched for them, players that are brilliant in the Prem that go abroad and don't do so well. It's just the nature of the beast. And that isn't like an English foreign thing. There are some players that you can get some foreign players. I'll give you an example. Philip Coutinho looks a much better player in England than he did abroad. And he's Brazilian. So it's just about horses for courses, where somebody feels most settled, where somebody feels they're playing their best football, performing to their highest standard, really. And I just don't think Lukaku is suited to the English Premier League. Stronger civilian here says Lukaku looking for the Inter swap deal. Like Beckham. Now, David Beckham did well in everywhere he went. That's a cat, bruv. Beckham did well in Spain, did well in America, even did well when he came back and was playing in Serie A for AC Milan. They wanted to sign him. Don't give me that Beckham nonsense. David Beckham did very well. Don't judge David Beckham's performances at Real Madrid based on how well Ronaldo did. You're talking about 2 different level of player. But Beckham did well in Madrid. Beckham did well in it. He was loved. I swear, Madrid fans, I've like a love and respect for him, and they are probably the hardest group of fans in the world to impress. Probably, in terms of what I've read and come across as well. Lukaku is the 90s version of Frederick Konate. Did he play for? Who did he play for? Did he play for West Ham? Frederick Konate. You know, sometimes you hear a player's name and you're like, I can't quite remember. Frederick Konate. Did he? Was it? Who was it? I can't even spell. Listen, I'm reading the name, but I can't even like spell it. My brain's gone. Yeah, he did play for West Ham. He's 44 now. I feel so old. How long was he at West Ham? Yeah, he played West Ham for 3 years. They went to Spurs. I forgot he played for Spurs for 3 years. Then he had a good, but you know what though? He had a good career at Sevilla. Good career at Sevilla. If you look at Sevilla, I didn't realize that, 136 games in 136 goals in 296 games for Sevilla. So there we go. That's a really good example. I mean, of someone that can just do it in other leagues but can't do it in the Prem. Doesn't mean he isn't good. Hi, the main Stan. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're good. Make sure you're all smashing that like button for us, by the way. Very important that you do that. Matt here says, it seems we can include Sanchez in this list of names. Conte massively improves along with Moses, Hakimi, and Lukaku under his management. Look, what makes certain managers world-class is that they're able to look at a player and go, right, there's limitations, but I'm going to use you in a way where we protect those limitations. And that's not just, the coaches are able to do that at any level, whether it's a boxer, whether it's a golfer, whether it's a tennis player. Your coach should be watching you and saying, right, okay, well, I'm going to try and, it's hard for me. I'm going to put it into like if you're a tennis player and you struggle with backhand volleys, I assume, and this must be the case, the way you're being trained is to try and hit the balls into areas where your opponent isn't going to be able to set you up where the only shot you can make is a backhand volley. And I'm using a very basic example here. Antonio Conte has to use his players in positions on the field of play where he can get the very best out of them, where they're not being exposed, where their weaknesses are not on show. That's what the best managers do. That's why someone like a Victor Moses, when he played fullback, was good, because as an attacker, he was all right. But when he played fullback, he had a little bit of defending to do. It was mainly attacking, but it covered a defensive role because you had an extra defender. And equally, the emphasis on you being the biggest creator at those. So when Victor Moses was playing as fullback, there wasn't like this huge pressure. There wasn't this huge pressure and need and desire for the fullbacks to be the most creative players on the pitch. Victor Moses wouldn't be looked at as successful now if we go back to what the modern day standard is. But that's just because everyone cares so much about the creativity that comes from a fullback. But you get my point. Terry, mate, today is a historic day. Doncaster's first league win against Sunderland of all time. I'm knackered, voice is gone, and we outsung 40,000 fans. Well done you, Donny James. Well done you, Donny James. I'm happy for you there, my friend. Happy for you there, my friend. I just read something quite funny. Terry, I thought you followed Man United, not Wigan. So that's a decent pun. I'll give you that. It's a decent little pun there, my friend. Spurs Savage says, naughty Strip Bear putting me in a timeout. Listen, why are you timing people out, Strip Bear? Don't be doing none of that. Just leave people to chat, please. Just get that done. There we go. Maybe just call them happy then Spurs. I don't understand that comment. Are you guys talking to each other? Because I read some of your comments and it's not always obvious. It's not always obvious what you're all talking about, but thank you for the super chat there, Donny James. Tyrone here says Bentancur and Kulu. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Kulusevski looks good tonight. Can't chat to them. Can't. I think you mean wait for them to settle in properly. Yeah, look, that's the key thing. You can't see one performance of a player and say they are going to be X, they are going to be Y, they're going to be Z. That's just preposterous. In any capacity, that's just preposterous. But there's always the chance, there's always the possibility of them becoming great for you. There's always the opportunity of it going in the other direction. but they look tidy. There is something to be encouraged about tonight as a Tottenham fan. That there just is. You go, okay, they look tidy. They came on and their touch was all over the place. They were losing possession. Then, yeah, you'd be worried. Okay, fair enough, Strip Bear. I've just seen your super chat. Thank you for letting me know that. Thank you. Dan, who's a Spurs fan, thank you for becoming a squad member of the Football Terrace. That means a great, great deal to us here tonight. It really does. Terry, what do you make about the West Ham fan making a protest against the board versus what are they making? I haven't read about this yet, so I don't know enough about it. They're making a protest. West Ham fans are having a protest. That's a little bit of a shock for me, considering like where they are and what they're doing. But I don't think Golden Sullivan have run that club to its full capacity, into its best capacity for a long, long time. But I'm not surprised to hear it. But I'll have to have a read about it and see. Terry, what's going on with Lingard at United? I'm going to be talking about that in the morning. So keep your eyes out for that video. It's going to drop. But I got a lot to say about that. I really do. Everyone's copying Man United, aren't they, Terry? That's the weirdest comment I've seen in my life. I don't even know what that means. Try again. You're probably trying to be funny. But there we go. Another false dawn for Tottenham. Seen it all before. We all know the history of the Tottenham. It's one of the reasons why I think it's so important for Tottenham to try and win this tournament, even more than it is for them to get into the Champions League this season. Because having something tangible at the end of it, because I don't think Enoch and Levy are ever going to spend the money at Tottenham required to make them league winners, Champions League winners. Just don't. So pick up some trophies. Therefore, being in the top four is almost inconsequential. Win some trophies. Win some trophies. Now, I know that Antonio Conte will. What you really want is both. If you got a choice between the two, you pick the trophies if you're a Tottenham fan. If you are going to try and win, then obviously you want both. That's what you want. You want both. But I don't know how plausible it is yet. And I don't. Their owners are not as bad as Arsenal's or Manchester United's, but they're certainly not striving to become the champions of England, in my opinion. James here says Arsenal will not get in the top four. Spurs will. And I say this as a Chelsea fan. Conte is no joke, is what James has got to say there. Terry, who's winning the FA Cup? Not Man United, of course. Banter aside, who is your favourite? Look, it's very difficult to look beyond Manchester City and Liverpool. They are the best two teams left in this tournament. The reason I put Man City above them is for two reasons. We still don't know how seriously Liverpool are going to take this tournament for the remainder of the season. We just don't. Chelsea, they just still haven't got themselves firing up front yet. And until Chelsea start firing up front, Liverpool playing their strongest teams and Man City remain favourites for me over them. So I'd go with Man City are probably the favourites to win this from now. But this is what's great about cup competition. Let's see what happens in the next round, in the next draw. City have to go away to Liverpool, or City have to go away to Tottenham or away to Chelsea. They could be out. And if they go out in the next round, it almost becomes anybody's game. The interesting thing will be this, though. If Liverpool get through this round, and in the next round, Liverpool qualify, but like a City go out, suddenly everybody starts to play stronger teams because there's generally more of a feeling of we could all do this now. But yeah, I'd say City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, my top four favourites to win this tournament right now. Great question. Terry, how much was the agent fee for your transplant? Steakpool, you're obviously always trying to banter, and all I'm going to say is this: there was no agent fee. Your mum paid for it for me. As it was a headboard that I rubbed it off on. In the mud. Now do one, please, my friend. Terry, where are the rivals? I don't know where the rivals are. The rivals ain't turning up tonight. I thought they're probably sitting down like I'm going to be in 5 minutes' time to watch Chris Eubank fight. But as you know, we cover these games irrespective of what's going on. Irrespective of what's going on. I don't know where the rivals are tonight. Igal definitely ain't coming on when Spurs do well, is he? Do you know what I mean? Terry, can you buy me a car? What are you going to do for me to buy you a car? Let me know. And if it's worth the car, then we'll do it. Terry, that video about you getting a hair transplant made me cry. No lies. Bun the haters. Listen, I had a tough couple of weeks a little while back, and I made a decision to just block a lot of people that are always out there spreading lies, that are chatting nonsense, that push mistruths, and things for me are going really, really well, and touching wood that remains. People around me are growing and doing good things. Life's in a good space, and you just can't let your detractors tear you down. When I think about people that lie about me, when I think about people that just come onto streams to chat nonsense, I feel sorry for those people. I don't feel anger towards them anymore. It's just sorrow. It's like, imagine the best part of your day is going on the internet and lying about me. Like there's no anger, there's pity, and I just feel sorry. So yeah, feel sorry for him, my friend. But thank you, and look, no worries about the video. I've been inundated with messages from people. Not some saying well done and stuff. It weren't about well done to me. It was more just thank you. I've been thinking about this, and can we have a conversation and talk? And that's what we did. So yeah, thank you very much indeed. There we go. Terry, can you do a backflip? No, I can't do a backflip. Some of you are asking very weird questions tonight. Let's all laugh at Man United again. Leaf. It's a very bold thing to do right now as a Spurs fan, but there we go. I understand why you're going to do it. I understand. Tonight, give it a go. Players are expected to sign new contracts before the end of the season. Man City are also amongst the front runners to sign Erling Haaland this summer, as the Etihad Stadium is seen as the place. I don't know where that's from, Brad. I don't know whose quote that is, but thank you very, very much for sharing it with us. I took my you want to see why I've took my bandages off? Look at this. See them? Where they cut into your head and take care, It's very sore. The bandages kept it really nice for a few days, and I had to come off now to get some air to them so that we can start healing up. But there we go. Let's have a look at a few more comments here. I used to get made fun of for having a receding hairline during my school days, and I'm 23 now. I really don't care. I'm proud of it, and I prefer having short hair. And do you know what, Matt? This is the interesting thing, my bro. Like, I've got brothers that are bald, and some of them are like, "Oh, I'd like to get it done." Some of my other brothers are like, "Listen, man, I'm fine how I am." That's the nature of this. It's a choice thing. Me sorting my hair out for me and for my personal reasons isn't a dig at anybody who's balding or is bald saying you should all do this. It will make you feel better. For some people, it doesn't, and that's I think I think in modern day life that's almost become lost now. Choice. Someone's choice to do something offends someone who doesn't want to. I'm not saying that's you, by the way, Matt, but people get offended because that isn't what they would want to do. And Ricky Gervais tells a brilliant joke in his last stand-up show called Humanity, where he basically speaks about Twitter and how Twitter is just people putting their thoughts out there. But not every thought and opinion is for you. But yet people feel a need to comment about it, even when it isn't addressed to them, isn't about them, doesn't speak to them. And he gives the example of this. So it's like walking down to your local town centre, your local city centre. And most town centres, I'm not sure about anywhere else in the world, but in the UK, it's like a notice board. It's like a notice board up where, someone might have lost their cat. If you need your house clearance done, people put up things. And his example was this. Somebody's offering guitar lessons. It's like phoning somebody that's offering guitar lessons and screaming down the phone at them saying, "But I don't fucking want guitar lessons." It weren't for you then. And that's what social media has done. I shared what I shared for me. And if people get something from it, great. I've had people getting mental at me saying, "Oh, I'm bald. What are you trying to say is wrong with me?" Nothing. Didn't say nothing was wrong with it. And that's that's how society, I think, has become really poisonous. It really, really has become poisonous. But that's why I don't get on at these people, though. I just want to give them a hug, really, because I just feel like they must be so sad inside, Simple as that. Bash is here now. What are you saying, Bash?
Hey, Terry. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. What do you want to say?
Very quickly, before I talk about the game, I just want to talk about two chats earlier about Lukaku in Spurs. I think, like you said, and I always said it, Lukaku is not a Premier League player, but I think he suits the Spurs system more than Chelsea, but you need a Kane next to him. So the other thing about David Beckham, he was the victim about his image. And I think if he was looking like Ronaldinho, he will be talked about one of the best players in the world. Then about the game, Tottenham looked really well. I started actually watching Spurs because of Conte. I'm really interested about Conte's approach. And to be honest, Terry, you can see already the progress. You can see what Conte is doing, regardless of the new players, the results, the loss against Chelsea, but still, overall, you can see the progress. And I think Conte is the cure of the history of the Tottenham. I think he's doing really, really well.
Wow,
So
that's a big shout. That is a big shout. And you know what? It could very well. It could be very well be true. I mean, they need a winner. Having a winner is what can turn you into being a winner. It's as simple as that. And that's why I think in the short term, Spurs starting to win trophies could be more important than them finishing in the top 4, because it can build an appetite to win, knowing what winning feels like, knowing how to get over the line, which could potentially push you on further. It really could.
Yeah, Terry, I think Conte is the proof why when you need to build a winning team, you need an elite manager. He's the proof of that, because let's say Arteta at Arsenal. In 2 years, I haven't seen anything. Yes, there's some slight progress. They bought a lot of players, but you still see some negativity. You don't see a pattern of play. You don't see a lot of system there. One game they play good, 10 games they play bad. But with Tottenham, you can see a slight progress, like a constant progress, and that's the difference between an elite manager and a novice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what Tottenham's gonna do next year. I don't care about this year. I just want to see their improvement. I want to see Kulusevski and Bentancur, which for me, I watch a lot of Serie A because I'm an Inter fan, and I know they are great players. So I'm really interested, really intrigued.
I hear you. Bash, great call, my friend. Thanks for coming on, mate. Having you say top man. Thank you. Thank you. I had to move the earphones up like this because my head's hurting. Everyone that's tuned in tonight, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you, our super chatters, our members, our callers. We appreciate it. Back tomorrow with more content. Got Man United video in the morning, covering Liverpool in the early afternoon. But until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless.